And the first thing I did at Bell Labs, most of you probably have seen it on television. When you see the crosshairs on TV with the smart bombs hitting targets, I have 3 patterns on the navigation system that direct the smart bombs that hits target. You can put it through a window in a building because of what we did, the fiber optic guided missile. I'm one of the inventors of that.
Oh my!
Welcome to the Cryptoteacher. And guys, I come back with that video just to make you think. And teamwork makes the dream work. An article was sent to me about Elon Musk, Starlinks, and drones. And I did a video about fiber optics, 5G, when I first started with drones, missiles. This video that I have here with Dr. Thomas Mensah. And that video is over 6 years old. So we can just imagine the technology that they have now. But definitely those satellites are just not fitting that. I've been over it time and time again. This is all about the 4th Industrial Revolution. Things that we saw on television we thought was never real. And remember, I teach you, your life is an illusion and TV is your reality. We're going to start seeing things that we just can't believe. But don't forget, I told you there's going to be 2 events this year. One this quarter, which we already have. And then one late 3rd quarter in September or the 4th quarter. And remember, the Cryptoteacher told you. But we have Grayscale CEO on CNBC speaking of the Bitcoin spot ETF. And we know why they haven't approved it. If you're going to approve a Bitcoin futures ETF, you definitely should have did the spot before. But we know why. They want to keep this casino wide open. It's the same reason why we don't have regulation in crypto. They've printed trillions and trillions of dollars. They put it in the market so they could make trillions more. And now it's time to take it out of the market so they can build. And remember that Build Back Better bill that Biden proposed will get passed through. Remember, guys, it's a Shemitah year. It's about rebuilding, being defiant against the Most High. We are in a spiritual war. And remember, the Cryptoteacher told you because he knows. When it comes to the New World Order, it's all planned out. You have a wonderful day.
Investment CEO Michael Sonnenschein, the man pushing hard for the next Bitcoin ETF. Michael, great to have you with us.
Great to be here.
I actually want to start off with GBTC, which is trading currently at about a 20% discount to its net asset value. You have said in other interviews that if the SEC rejects your plan to convert to an ETF, that you would explore all options. What does that include?
Well, I think really, Melissa, this is really about continuing to work proactively with the SEC. Grayscale's history around GBTC goes all the way back to 2016. And so working together to develop the guidelines for becoming an SEC reporting company and now pushing those boundaries to have the SEC even out the playing field for us to have GBTC become an ETF. And so we will continue to put the full resources of Grayscale behind this initiative, but we're really now calling on investors to partake in this process as well.
What is the reasoning that you've gone from the SEC as to why they're hesitant about this, and what are your counter arguments?
Well, the SEC has cited time and again concerns over the underlying Bitcoin market, the potential for fraud and manipulation, or a lack of surveillance in the underlying Bitcoin market. Now what we find ourselves is a world in which there are Bitcoin futures ETFs, but still a rejection of the underlying Bitcoin spot ETFs like GBTC's application. And while it's a very, very important milestone for us to have Bitcoin futures ETFs here in the US, the futures contract itself does not solve any of the underlying concerns that the SEC may have about Bitcoin. And thus, we really think the SEC should do the right thing, protect investors, and allow both of these product types in the market.
I think, regulation is not the issue. Michael just said it. They welcome working with the SEC. The decentralized nature of this does not mean it should be run roughshod. And I also always say I also want my treasury to know where, and keep track of the currency and the exchanges between the dollars. So ultimately, I will point out also that Bitcoin is up about 35% since Russia invaded Ukraine. And I think there is some correlation between central banks and other players around the world saying they don't agree with Russia, but the fact that the U.S. can freeze Russian assets, that the Europeans can freeze assets, I think that bothers the Chinese. I think it bothers a lot of other people. And I do think it's dollar negative, and I do think it's Bitcoin positive.
And then the other factors that are dollar negative, of course, central banks wanting to potentially move away from the U.S. dollar as a reserve currency, Grasso. So all this, bullish for Bitcoin here as we sit at these key levels.
Yeah, I think it's all bullish for all crypto. I actually own the Grayscale Ethereum Trust. That's been up pretty aggressively as well pretty recently. But I think the takeaway that Michael had just said and Tim touched on, the regulators seem to be warming to this idea, and it's no longer this thing out in the stratosphere. This is happening, and we're gaining market share, and it's bullish.
We're going to a different economy, and we're going to be learning more about that as we go. But clearly, we're learning that things can be done from remote locations. We're learning that technology can replace people even more than we thought.
We're not going back to the same economy. We're recovering, but to a different economy, and it'll be one that is more leveraged to technology. And I worry that is going to make it even more difficult than it was for many workers.
In Silicon Valley, and my friends who work in technology know that what we did to the manufacturing workers, we are now going to do to the retail workers, the call center workers, the fast food workers, the truck drivers, and then even bookkeepers, accountants, insurance agents, lawyers, and on through the economy. So what happened to the manufacturing workers is a very clear sign.
This effort, and China has big plans for this. They intend to seed their digital yuan into the global environment by giving it away to visitors at next winter's Olympics. When they arrive at the airport, they're going to get yuan digital wallets. They're going to receive digital yuan. They're going to use it throughout their visits to Beijing, and then they're going to take it back to their home countries. They see this as a huge advantage. Why? Because who controls the underlying protocols, who controls the underlying standards of the future of money will control the future of money.
Most powerful person in the world is the storyteller. The storyteller sets the vision, values, and agenda of an entire generation to come. Steve Jobs. And guys, I truly believe in this. When you look at the New World Order, they're the storytellers. And that's the reason why I wrote my New World Order book. But guys, now it's time to change the current generation. And I wrote 3 kids' books. I love the Trinity because I understand the power that's in it. So I have 3 books. We have an opportunity to change the generation, to educate, not just me, but I want to show you that I take action on a daily basis. And I want you to take action on a daily basis. Whether it's your job, whether it's in your community, we have an opportunity right now to educate the masses. I posted this on my Twitter account. Please share, but this is a short clip of the 3 books. There's going to be a clothing line and action figures. Please get these books for your kids, nephews, cousins, friends, so therefore we can start the re-education now. Because as we see, the 4th Industrial Revolution foundation is definitely here. Robots, algorithms, drones, taking humanity out the picture. We have to re-educate. But let's get into the video.
Part 1. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save the village. Part 2. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save New York from COVID 33. Part 3. King Joshua and Grandma Tam goes to China.
It's mandatory to get part 1, part 2, and part 3 of this series. It's time to re-educate Generation Z.